Ever hit a massive brick wall of government bureaucracy while trying to track down a veteran's records? Yeah, we've all been there. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're handing you the literal master key to unlocking those government files. Standard Form 180, commonly known as the SF-180. Let's dive right in. So why does this all matter? Imagine finally finding that missing puzzle piece to your family history. Or, even better, unlocking those hard-earned veteran benefits that have just been sitting there, totally out of reach. The stakes here are high, both emotionally and practically, and getting this process right is the absolute only way to get your hands on those documents.
Because look, we're not just talking about dusty old paperwork here, we're talking about life-changing stuff. A military record is the absolute proof you need for things like securing VA home loans, getting essential medical care, authorizing a burial in a national cemetery, or just diving deep into genealogy research. It all comes down to the paper holding these benefits together.
Now, hunting through 100 million veteran files sounds crazy, but don't worry, we've got a roadmap. We're going to cover Intro to Military Records, accessing Form SF-180, eligibility and documents, the submission process, timelines and delays, and finally, support and final tips.
All right, Section 1, Intro to Military Records. Let's figure out exactly what it is we're trying to extract from the National Archives.
The absolute holy grail here is the OMPF. That stands for Official Military Personnel File. Think of it as the ultimate administrative snapshot of someone's service. It houses their personal military history, from enlistment contracts and duty stations to performance evaluations, disciplinary actions, and awards. But just a quick heads up, it generally does not give you detailed blow-by-blow descriptions of specific battles.
But hiding inside that OMPF is the real MVP of military documents, the DD Form 214. You'll usually just hear it called a DD 214. It's the report of separation. Honestly, out of all the papers in a file, this is the one you really want. It's a snapshot of an entire career, packing in dates of service, final rank, and the character of separation. If you need to prove eligibility for almost any veteran benefit, the DD 214 is your golden ticket.
Moving right along to Section 2, accessing Form SF-180. This is the exact tool you need to actually get those records.
So, how does it work? First, you've got to get the form. You can download the PDF from archives.gov or grab a physical copy at a local VA office. Second, fill in the details. Third, and I literally cannot stress this enough, you have to sign it in cursive. Federal law demands a physical handwritten signature dated within the last year. A typed name just will not cut it, so get ready to practice your penmanship. Fourth, check the location table, and fifth, mail or fax it in. When you're filling this out, precision is absolutely everything. Remember, technicians are trying to find one piece of paper in a haystack of 100 million records. You must include the complete name used in service, the Social Security number or service number, the branch, and the dates of service. And here's a pro tip. Tell them the purpose of your request. If you need it for a medical appointment, say so. It really helps them prioritize and understand exactly what you need.
Okay, Section 3, Eligibility and Documents. Let's talk about who is actually allowed to ask for these files and what kind of proof you have to provide.
It all boils down to the 62-year rule. This is a total game changer. Access rights and costs depend entirely on the veteran's discharge date. If they were discharged more than 62 years ago, that record is considered archival. Anyone in the general public can ask for it, though there is a copy fee. But if the discharge was less than 62 years ago, it's a federal, non-archival record. That means access is strictly locked down to the veteran or their next of kin to protect privacy. The upside? Those records are usually totally free.
So who actually counts as next of kin for those restricted federal records? The government defines this as the unremarried widow or widower, a son, daughter, father, mother, brother, or sister. If that's you, there's one major catch. You absolutely have to provide proof of death of the veteran with your SF-180. An obituary, a death certificate, or a letter from a funeral home is completely mandatory.
All right, Section 4, the submission process. You've got your form filled out, you've got your proof. Now, how do you actually hand this over to the government?
You basically have two choices here: the online eVetRex system or old-school mailing and faxing. Now, eVetRex is a custom online portal that can definitely speed things up. But wait for it, even if you do it all online, you still have to print out a signature verification page, sign it in cursive, and then fax or mail it in any way to activate the request. Yep, the government really loves its fax machines. Alternatively, you can just skip the portal entirely, fill out the SF-180 PDF, sign it, and send the whole shebang directly.
But hold on, before you stick a stamp on that envelope, stop. The biggest mistake people make is assuming every single military record goes to the National Personnel Records Center in St. Louis. That is just not true. Depending on the branch, dates of service, and whether they were active or reserve, those files could be at different federal or state facilities. You absolutely must route your request based on the records location table found right there on page 3 of the SF-180.
Which brings us to Section 5, Timelines and Potential Delays. Your form is in the right hands, so let's set some realistic expectations about the waiting game and talk about the giant elephant in the room when it comes to military records. 16 to 18 million. That is the staggering estimated number of official military personnel files completely wiped out in a disastrous fire at the St. Louis facility back on July 12, 1973. It was devastating. It mostly took out Army personnel discharged between 1912 and 1959 and Air Force personnel discharged between 1947 and 1963. If your veteran falls into those windows, their primary record might literally be ashes.
But hey, do not give up hope. The 1973 fire is a delay, not a total dead end. They actually have a massive reconstruction effort that uses alternate sources, like pay records, to rebuild files. But they need your help to do it. If you suspect your records were caught in that fire, you have to provide alternate clues on your SF-180. We're talking the veteran's place of discharge, their last assigned unit, and their place of entry. Give the technicians the breadcrumbs so they can put the puzzle back together.
Okay, the final stretch. Section 6, Support and Final Tips. What should you do while you wait, and where can you turn if you need more help navigating all of this?
Once you submit, the official goal is a 10-day turnaround for basic separation documents. Though, let's be real, complex requests take longer. If 30 days go by and you hear crickets, it's time to take action. Go check their online status update form. If you really need to speak to a human, call the NPRC customer service line. Quick insider tip though, peak calling times are weekdays between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Central. Call early in the morning or call later in the afternoon to avoid listening to hold music all day.
As we wrap things up, a quick reality check. Government bureaucracy is a living thing. Procedures, fees, and mailing addresses occasionally update. The information in this explainer is totally accurate based on the source documents right now. But always do a quick double check on archives.gov for the absolute latest forms and current rules before you mail anything off.
And that leaves us with one final thought. What hidden history or what unclaimed benefits are just sitting there waiting in your family's military records? You've got the roadmap now. You understand the 62-year rule, and you know exactly how to conquer the SF-180 to find out. Don't let that legacy just gather dust in a box in St. Louis. Take action, print out that form, get out a pen, sign it in cursive, and unlock your past. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy researching.